Mr. Cantrell.
Commissioner, thanks for coming. Appreciate you and your leadership of the commission and your objectivity. We've talked many times about our issues, and so you're very well acquainted with our predicament. And as small oil and gas producers, we don't have the resources to be at the commission every day with attorneys and expert witnesses. And so in the past, we've always relied upon the technical staff of the Oklahoma Corporation Commission to be a third-party intermediary that would always make sure things are done right from an engineering standpoint, from a geological standpoint, from a public rights standpoint. You used to have to get by the technical staff, and it appears to us you really don't have a technical staff like we had years ago. And so, as you know, from the day one, one of our top legislative agendas has been sustainable funding for the Corporation Commission. And Representative Taylor, who's here, had a bill that basically just assessed a 0.2% fee or something like that per barrel and per MCF that would give you sustainable funding. And it appears to me that what we did this last year needed to be done to help you get technology increased at the commission, the use of technology. But did it really do anything to help your sustainable funding? And do you see that we still need to work toward that to be able to have the technical staff that we all need you to have to be able to adjudicate everybody's rights?
The answer is no. I mean, when we did the fee increase, you're specifically talking about the fee increases, not the latest appropriation, which the latest appropriation is specific to IT, not staff. But when we did the fee increase, at that point, our operating deficit, and I'm going to say these numbers, but don't take them as gospel because it's been too long since I've looked at it, but our operating deficit in the oil and gas division at that time was around $5 million. At the end of the day, the projections were that the fees implemented will raise a little under $3 million, if I'm remembering correctly, and actually they're coming in a little lower than what had been projected. Not much, but a little bit lower than what had been projected. And so the answer to your question is no. The fee increases, and that's hard to explain, and especially to legislators, because sometimes they get upset. Well, you pass these fees. Why don't you just hire some more staff? Well, we had taken a $14 million hit over a 2-year period from the budgeting process in the legislature, and so we're still trying to climb out of that hole. And so no, any additional staff is going to be on top. Now, we're trying to fill some of the vacancies that we had. As I said, at one point, you all probably know Bob McCoy. When he got down to at one point, he was a one-man show down there, and we've been able to add to that. And but as I said, we have a long way to go, and it will take funding. Unfortunately, a friend of mine used to work for me when I was in the House of Representatives. And of course, I was a fire-breathing conservative Republican and still am. And this gentleman was working for the Speaker at the time. It was early on when I came into the commission, and I was telling him all these problems, and he just looked at me and he said, "Boy, it didn't take you long to turn into a bureaucrat." So it's kind of hard to explain sometimes, but there are needs. And it's the industry that benefits. That's the thing that I've tried to help the legislature understand. Do Bob, Dana, and Todd, do we benefit by all that? Not really, not personally, not directly, not financially. But the industry is the one that suffers. If they're having to wait 3 and 4 and 5 weeks for us to process something, that costs money. I know it does.